Hey, what's up everyone? It's Dan from Flavor Fit Food, and today I'm going to teach you how to make white chicken chili bowls. This recipe yields 6 servings. Each bowl has just over 500 calories and 58 grams of protein. It's insanely delicious. I smashed one right before I shot this little intro. So make sure to like and subscribe to the channel and stick around until the end of the video. I'll share my favorite tips on meal timing for fat loss with this one, or things you can add or bulk it up if you were trying to eat more calories or build some muscle. But let's get right into this meal prep video. All right, first step, we're just gonna get some minor knife work out of the way. No need to be alarmed. Got one onion I cut in half and peeled. Now I'm going to dice it up into like a small 1/4 inch dice. You could go a little larger if you prefer, but I like 1/4 inch dice for this recipe. So once we get this onion cut up, we're just gonna set it aside in this bowl. Next, we're gonna smash and peel 4 cloves of garlic. I prefer you use fresh garlic for this. You don't really want to use like some sort of a pre-diced. Fresh is always best. So slice it up, get it nice and thin, and then we're just going to run our knife across until we get a nice fine little mince on this garlic. And then we're going to set it aside in another separate bowl from the onion. All right, now we're just going to dice up this jalapeno. That's going to be the last of our knife work. I just like to go around the sides and just kind of like peel the outer layer off, just because I don't really like handling the seeds that much, because, I'm a chef. I've handled jalapenos or habaneros before and got seeds on my face, or, you do the math. Go to the bathroom. Yeah, it can get gnarly. So that's why I like to do just the sides. And then also, that's why I did it last. I don't like to cut something spicy and then use my knife a bunch more. I just like to get it out of the way last. So got this diced up, gonna put it in the bowl with the onions and set it aside. Now we're gonna make our spice mix for the chili. First, we're gonna have 1/2 teaspoon of cumin, 1/2 teaspoon of dry mustard powder, 1/2 teaspoon of dried oregano, 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, and 1 teaspoon of chili powder. I use dark. You could use whatever your favorite is. Now we're all ready to start cooking. Got our pot heated up nice and hot. Gonna drop 1 tablespoon of olive oil in there, and then hit it with the onions and the jalapenos. Season it with a little salt. Start pulling some flavors out. And we're just gonna saute and sweat this for about 5 minutes. Just want to get some translucent color on it and pull out some flavors. Not looking to get it super dark brown or anything like that. All right, it's been about 5 minutes. This is nice and soft. Gonna drop all that garlic in there, hit it with a little bit more salt, mash all these flavors together, and we're gonna saute it for 1 minute, stirring constantly. We do not want this garlic to burn. Now we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, and we're just gonna cook this for about 2 minutes, stirring constantly, because this flour will stick and burn, and we just want this flour to kind of cook out a little bit, and it's going to be a kind of a thickening agent for our chili. Now we're ready to add some liquids. I have 2 quarts of chicken broth. We're only going to use 6 cups, but it's better to have a little extra in case something happens and it gets a little too thick. So I just splashed a little bit in there. You want to start slow. Scrape any little brown bits off the bottom. See, it's incorporated nicely, right? It was about a minute. Going to add a little bit more. Just keep on stirring. Stir, stir, stir. Want to let it come back up to temp. You don't just want to shock it all at once and have it super cold. We want to start getting this nice and thick. So now I'm just going to take a steady stream, right? I'm just stirring, got a steady stream of this chicken broth in there, and we're just going to keep adding until it's all incorporated and we have all of the chicken broth in the pot. All right, and boom, 6 cups of chicken broth in, and now we're going to hit it with a really great ingredient. We have 1/4 cup of half and half, and so you might be like, oh, this is how am I going to lose fat? This is half and half. It has fat in it. It's going in this recipe. Well, you know what it's adding? It's adding a lot of richness and a lot of flavor, which is going to help you beat the mental aspect of your diet. So that's why it is in there. Now we're going to add 1 teaspoon of, can never say this, Worcestershire sauce, and then 1 teaspoon of your favorite hot sauce. I just had some Tabasco lying around, so that's what I used. Then we're going to use 2 cans of green chilies. I showed you there, but then I opened them up, and we just poured them in our pot of chili. Now the spices, and right now when I'm cooking this, it is smelling like literally insane. It's smelling so good. I can still remember exactly what it smelled like when I was cooking this. So just going to stir this up and add our last little thing here before we simmer it for a while. 2 cans of cannellini beans, or like any white beans would do. Great northern beans, basically whatever you want. And then we're going to bring this to a low simmer, and we're going to cook it for 15 minutes and just let everything kind of thicken up, let that flour start to settle, and let these flavors really start to mesh. So it's been 15 minutes. Just look at this thing. The color is insane. The smell is insane. It's reduced. It's looking great. We're going to drop 1.5 cups of frozen corn in there. I'm kind of struggle bussing. Got stuck in the bottom of my little measuring cup here, but we're just going to rip it out, dump our frozen corn in there. And now we're going to add 2 pounds of chicken breast. I seasoned lightly with some salt and pepper. And we're just going to gently place them in our chili, and we're just going to poach them at low heat, uncovered, for about 20 minutes until the chicken is done. And we're back 20 minutes later, and our chicken is looking moist and poached and fully cooked and delicious. So just pull them out, put them in a big bowl, give them room to breathe. You don't like stack them right on top of each other. And I let mine sit for about 15 minutes at room temp. They're still pretty hot, actually. I busted them up with this tong a little bit. I think I let them sit like 5 minutes more, and then I just started shredding them with my hands. This is one of the more tedious parts of making this recipe, but trust me, you get 6 meals with a shit ton of protein and a shit ton of flavor, so it is very worth it. Just shred it apart and get it. Like, if you want to leave it in bigger chunks, that's cool, but I kind of recommend the size you see here. You know, not too small, but like still nice and rustic, and not just like completely shredded. So then we're going to get our pot back on, just bring it to like low kind of a simmer, and dump all this. Look at all that chicken in there, guys. Like, protein city, that is muscle city. So just dump all that chicken back in there, start stirring it around, kind of incorporating everything, because you want that chicken to start soaking up some of those chili juices. And then we're going to put it, just leave it back on. We're going to simmer it for just like a minute or two. Just kind of let everything rehydrate. And then we're going to take 4 ounces of light cream cheese. And this is really kind of another thing when I was talking about richness and beating the mental part of dieting. This cream cheese really, really makes a big difference in terms of the overall texture, mouthfeel, and just satisfyingness, is that a word? But anyway, you get what I'm saying, of this dish. So just going to leave this on low heat and just stir. It takes like a minute or two until the cream cheese is fully incorporated. And just look at that chili, guys. It is looking absolutely fire, and it smells absolutely fire. And this is what the final product is going to look like. Nice and chunky and creamy and delicious. Now we're going to portion it out. I have my 6 containers here. I just have a ladle. I'm just going to evenly scoop it into all these containers, just kind of eyeball, make sure the chicken amount is about the same. If you really wanted to be very picky, or you're really watching your calories intently, you can just zero out a different container on a scale in grams, and then dump this into it, divide by 6, and that would give you your weight in grams. Now just to spice this up with some, well, not spice in terms of heat, but just add some more flavor and some freshness, we have some sliced scallions, and then I'm going to also drop some fresh chopped cilantro on these chili bowls. And here we have the finished product, and honestly, I love this recipe. This is an absolutely clutch recipe. So let's look at the total macros: 512 calories, 58.7 grams of protein, 41.25 grams of carbs, and 13.2 grams of fat. So now let's get into some of the strategies, whether you're trying to lose fat. We'll go over fat loss first, and then how I would use this in a muscle building diet. All right, so if I were eating this in a fat loss diet, first of all, if you know me, I would use an intermittent fasting strategy. I find that works best for me and for most people for calorie restriction and fat loss. And when I would eat this, meal timing is very important, and I would actually break my fast with this. I would probably eat a banana first, 80 to 100 calories right there, lots of volume, very filling, and then I would probably smash this. And after you eat like something like an apple or a banana or whatever you like, something light, something nutritious with a lot of volume, you're only going to be at like 615 calories, and you're going to already have like 60 grams of protein, and it's going to fill you up for a long time, so you can have a lot of calories free for later in the night, so you can smash like a big meal. That's how I like to do it when I'm losing fat. So if I'm in a fat loss, if I am going for a calorie deficit, I'm definitely breaking my fast with this. A lot because too, I like to eat, like there's 41 grams of carbs in this, but like I really crave carbs when I'm in a fat loss diet, when I'm in a deficit, but this doesn't feel like you're eating carbs to me, so I really need to satisfy my carbohydrate cravings later in the night, and so that's why I would eat this first, but you could also eat this later in the day. Depends on your personal preferences, whatever works for you, as long as you're eating at a deficit. All right, so now let's talk maintenance, or more likely surplus, right? So with a meal like this, honestly, there's not a bad time to eat this. You can eat this anytime you want. I mean, it's only 512 calories. It's got a ton of protein. It's relatively low in fat, so there's not a bad time. But let's say you want to eat this for dinner and you want to pack some calories in there, right? Obviously, you could add an ounce of shredded cheddar cheese. You could eat some cornbread on the side or something. That would go really well with this. If you want more protein, even if you're at a deficit, or if you're at a surplus, you want more protein, you could add some fat-free plain Greek yogurt. So there's a lot of options for this meal. There's some meals that just work well for everything, and this is definitely one of them if you're trying to build muscle. Like, it's super versatile. It's kind of just up to you how you want to play it. For me, I've been in a surplus and I've been eating this, and I don't add anything to it because I've just been kind of eating it as like a midday snack, or like a lunch, or like a a pre-workout, a pre-dinner meal, if you will. But yeah, this is a really good one, and it really fits well in a surplus. Like I said, just smash one anytime. It's super flavorful. You will not regret it. So anyway, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. My name is Dan, and let me know down in the comments any meals that you would like to see me prep in the future. I will catch you next time. Thanks for listening and watching. Peace out.